Star Trek revisits the Kelvin timeline with a surprising character's comeback. Star Trek has returned to the Kelvin universe, in the process shining a light on one of its most interesting characters. In Star Trek #26, Captain Sisko and the crew of the Theseus arrive in the Kelvin universe to try and save it from the wave of destruction Laura has unleashed. While the two crews frantically work to save creation, one Kelvin crew member makes a huge impression on Data. Star Trek #26, Part 2 of When the Walls Fell is written by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly and drawn by Angel Hernandez. The two crews pair off to begin working on a way to defeat Lore. Data, who is currently without a body, meets 0718, who introduces himself as the humanoid avatar of the Enterprise. Data notes the similarities between him and 0718. The two continue to bond over shared experiences, and 0718 gives Data a temporary robotic body, which debuted in 2009's J.J. Abrams-helmed reboot, was created to free the franchise from decades of continuity, serving the same function as Marvel's Ultimate line. Paramount and Abrams went back to the drawing board, casting new and younger actors in the roles of Kirk and Spock. The filmmakers also gave the Enterprise itself a makeover, making it far more sleek than before. The movie also sported cutting-edge special effects, something missing for a while from the Trek franchise. While the movies were controversial among longtime fans, they nevertheless helped save the franchise. The Kelvin universe also introduced new characters as well, although most of them spent their time in the background. Among them were Keenser, Scotty's diminutive alien sidekick, and Lieutenant 0718. 0718, played by Joseph Gatt, was a humanoid serving on the Enterprise's bridge in the Sciences Division. Nothing was revealed about 0718 save his name, but it was clear he was not completely human, and his name seemed to confirm this. Like many background Star Trek characters, he did not get a backstory. However, the comics came to the rescue. Crewman 0718 has a highly intriguing backstory in 2014 Star Trek #31 and #32. In the story titled I, Enterprise, the ship comes across a sentient planet. After returning from an away mission, the planet's intelligence hijacks the Enterprise, nearly destroying it in the process. The intelligence seeks the supremacy of inorganic life, and to communicate with the humans, creates a humanoid avatar. The avatar eventually turns on the intelligence and becomes a member of the Enterprise's crew, taking the designation 0718. 0718 is essentially the Kelvin equivalent of Data, making their bonding in this issue a treat for fans. Thanks to his unique nature, Lieutenant 0718 has become a valuable asset to his Enterprise, much like Data was to his ship. 0718's robotic nature allows him access to the Enterprise's computer systems, and he can use them even better than anyone on the ship, even Spock. The events of I, Enterprise take place before Star Trek Into Darkness, and explain why this unique crewman was on the bridge. 0718 was one of the most intriguing additions to the Star Trek mythos, and the comics made him even cooler. In Star Trek #26, crewman 0718 meets Data, his kindred spirit from the Prime timeline, and the two share a moment. 0718 and Data bond over their ability to experience sensations organic beings cannot. Both are surprised to meet the other, and if the circumstances were less dire, the two would no doubt become good friends. In time, Data could even come to view 0718 as a brother. Data has sought a relationship with his actual brother, Lore, over the years, only to be rebuked each time. 0718 could fill a brother-sized hole in Data's life. The Kelvin timeline, created by J.J. Abrams' 2009 Star Trek reboot, has long been a point of debate among Star Trek fans. The alternate reality, born from the time-traveling actions of a Romulan named Nero, saw Captain James T. Kirk and the crew of the USS Enterprise embark on new, action-packed adventures that diverge from the Prime timeline. Over the years, we've seen memorable moments and characters emerge from this universe, but one thing has been clear: the Kelvin timeline has its own destiny, distinct from the classic Star Trek canon. However, in an exciting announcement that has set the fanbase abuzz, Paramount has confirmed that they are returning to the Kelvin timeline with a twist, by bringing back a character who has long been thought to be relegated to the Prime universe, Benjamin Sisko. That's right, the enigmatic and iconic captain from Star Trek Deep Space Nine is making a shocking comeback in a new Kelvin-era film, and his reappearance promises to be one of the most unexpected developments in Star Trek history. A complex hero from a different era when Deep Space Nine first aired in 1993, Benjamin Sisko, played by Avery Brooks, was a departure from the classic captain archetype established by Kirk and Picard. Sisko was deeply human, emotionally charged, and faced moral challenges that were often darker and more complex than those of his predecessors. As commander of the DS-9 space station, he navigated political intrigue, wars, and eventually the delicate role of being the emissary of the prophets, spiritual beings worshipped by the Bajoran people. His arc ended in a bittersweet but fitting manner in the series finale, What You Leave Behind. After defeating the Dominion and ensuring the survival of the Alpha Quadrant, Sisko ascended to a higher plane of existence with the prophets, promising to return to his wife and newborn son someday. This open-ended conclusion left fans speculating about Sisko's ultimate fate, but he remained a figure largely untouched by subsequent Star Trek stories. Kelvin Timeline's bold choice, the decision to bring Sisko into the Kelvin Timeline, isn't just a fan service move. It's an exciting narrative risk that opens up new possibilities for both Sisko's character and the universe itself. As we know, the Kelvin timeline diverged when Nero's ship arrived in the past, altering the course of history. In this alternate reality, there's no guarantee that the events of Deep Space Nine unfolded in the same way, or that Sisko's journey took the same path. Early reports indicate that the story of Sisko's return will involve him being drawn into the Kelvin universe through a rift in time and space, created by a new, unknown threat to the galaxy. The Enterprise crew, now led by Chris Pine's Captain Kirk, will find themselves caught in the middle of a dangerous conflict, with Sisko as a key player in the unfolding mystery. The challenge for the Enterprise crew will be understanding who Sisko is, what his motivations are, and how to work with a man who has seen the universe in ways they cannot comprehend. A man out of time, one of the most intriguing aspects of Sisko's return will be his character's sense of displacement. In the Prime universe, he has ascended beyond the confines of human existence, living among the prophets in the Celestial Temple. How will he adjust to being pulled back into a corporeal form, and in a reality that is not his own? Will he retain the wisdom and powers granted by the prophets, or will he find himself once again limited by the rules of the physical world? More importantly, how will this new Sisko differ from the man we knew? Given the divergence of the Kelvin timeline, the events that shaped Sisko's life might not have happened in the same way. We could be seeing a version of Sisko who never became the emissary, who never had to confront the moral ambiguities of war with the Dominion, or who perhaps walked an even darker path in this alternate universe. The filmmakers have teased that Sisko's motivations and allegiances will not be immediately clear, making him both an ally and a potential adversary to Kirk and his crew. A meeting of legends, the prospect of seeing Sisko interact with the Kelvin timeline versions of classic Star Trek characters is tantalizing. Sisko's relationship with Kirk was always a complicated one. In the Deep Space Nine episode Trials and Tribulations, Sisko expressed admiration for Kirk, but also recognized the vast differences in their leadership styles. Now, in the alternate timeline, we might see these two captains clash ideologically as they confront a threat that could endanger the very fabric of space and time. Moreover, Sisko's unique spiritual journey could provide fascinating contrasts with characters like Spock, who balances logic and emotion, or even Scotty, whose practical mindset might be challenged by the ethereal nature of the prophets and their influence on Sisko. A new frontier for Star Trek, the return to the Kelvin timeline with Benjamin Sisko at the forefront represents